Hello everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I am doing a video on Star Trek Next Generation because I just finished Season 7. Really good stuff here. I just want to go over a couple of highlights in the season and go over a couple episodes I really liked. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting with episode 1. We've got Descent Part 2. So this is a two-part episode leaving off the Season 6 finale. Lore came back, Data's brother, which was really cool to see. They gave him like a weird bodysuit, but he was in control of the Borg last time we saw them. So before Lore can run risky experiments on Geordi, Troy, and Picard, the three sneak away to reboot Data's ethical program that Lore switch off to pull Data to his side. It's very interesting stuff. This season 7 was in 93, so it was a long time ago. Going into another really good episode was Phantasm. That's the iconic episode where Picard reaches inside of Data to answer the phone. It's a meme. But Data details with his new ability to experience nightmares as the Enterprise deals with the installation of a new warp core that won't work as expected. So very interesting stuff there. I liked this episode, Dark Page, about Diana Troy's mother, because she had some PTSD about how her daughter before Diana had drowned because they weren't paying attention. And this little alien girl in the starship was playing around in a pond, and that got the mother to basically relive her traumatic memories. So it was a really emotional episode. Going on from there, we've got Force of Nature was a pretty good episode. While searching for a missing Federation medical transport, the Enterprise is escorted by two scientists from a nearby planet who claim the commutative exposure to warp energy is weakening the fabric of space-time. So really interesting stuff here. They actually talk about how eventually in this zone of space, more warp travel will lead to a spatial time anomaly. And the scientist actually warps her own ship into the anomaly to prove she's right. So that was really interesting. Inheritance was a really good episode. On Federation planet Arita 5, Data encounters a former wife of his creator, Noonien Soon, who claims to be his mother. So really interesting episode here. We actually find out Soon had made her an android as well. She wasn't aware she was an android, but she was one of the most perfectly lifelike human robots that Soon built. Data was actually wondering why he wasn't more human like her, and she explained, you were an experiment to try to perfect human craft or perfect the human experience, not to look human. So that was really interesting. Parallels is a really good episode. On his return from a Batleth competition in the Klingon Empire, Worf finds himself shifting through realities where events and details are in a constant state of flux, and only he is aware of the changes. So this is a really cool episode. We got to see sort of the multiverse in this episode because we got to see like 25 Enterprises show up with different crews. We got to see Riker was really disheveled because one of the realities that the Borg had taken all over, and he was basically saying his ship won't go back, and their ship actually got destroyed due to their low shields. Probably intense fighting before they got there. So moving on, I just want to see if there's any more good episodes. There was an episode called Lower Decks, which was really cool in the 7th season, which I'm guessing they got the inspiration for the animated series for Lower Decks. I haven't started it yet, but now that I'm done with Next Generation, I'll probably be getting to it very soon. Like I said, Deep Space Nine and Voyager are next. So yeah, Shine, Own, Self was a really good episode too. Episode 16. Data is sent to follow a probe that has drifted off course and crashed on a primitive planet, only to crash on the planet himself, with no memory of any event prior to his crashing on the planet's surface. So this is a really interesting episode where Data had to live with the community. He was trying to prevent them from touching this radioactive material, trying to stop them from getting sick. We also got Eye of the Beholder. As a young lieutenant aboard the Enterprise commits suicide, his shipmates deal with the loss, and Diana deals with the feelings surrounding her as she and Worf begin to form a relationship. So very interesting stuff there. Diana dating Worf. They showed that in that Parallels episode, also teased it. And yeah, it was really interesting to see Diana Troy experiencing the memories of another psychic. She found out that there was a murder on board the Enterprise before it ever left space dock. There was a body left in the wall. So very interesting stuff. Going on, we got Journey's End, which I do want to talk about just because of Wesley. Wesley Crusher returned in episode 20. After the Federation grants access by the Cardassians to a planet already inhabited by Native Americans, Picard has the daunting task of relocating them. So this was another really good episode about, Native Americans living on this planet that they had, settled hundreds of years back, but the Cardassian Trade Alliance had fashioned a new deal to where this planet was now in their territory. The Native Americans ended up saying that they would live there with the Cardassians despite the risk. They wanted their own independence, and the Cardassians agreed to let them stay. It's very interesting. They talked about Picard, his family line, and how several generations prior, there was a Picard that slaughtered Native Americans and forced them from their homes. So they kind of told Picard the parallel of your ancestor doing this blood crime, and that you need to basically reverse the blood that's in your ledger. So that was very interesting. Then going on, we've got Primitive Strike. I do want to go into this real quick, just because following her return from advanced tactical training, Bajoran Ro Laren is sent to infiltrate Maquis, and finds herself torn between her loyalty to Picard and Starfleet and her sympathy for the Marquis fighting for the good fight. So these are militia, former Federation people that are fighting the Cardassians on open conflicts. The Marquis. And she actually does return in Star Trek Picard, which was really cool to see. Last episode, All Good Things. Captain Picard finds himself shifting continuously into the past, future, and present, and must use that to discover a threat to humanity's existence. So really good episode, the season finale. I felt like it was kind of giving hints of Star Trek Picard, because there was scenes in the future where he was really old and nobody believed him. So that was kind of interesting. I did like that Data was a professor, had a lot of cats at his university, so that was cool. And yeah, just very different from all the movies, because I've seen all the Picard movies. Some of them end with Data dying, others don't. So it's very interesting, the continuity. And then, of course, Star Trek Picard starts out with Data's daughters. One of them dies, one of them ends up becoming a traveler. And, of course, they end up finding out that Data's body has been put on a starbase station as a security measure for the Section 31. So, very interesting stuff. I mean, it makes sense, a Union Soon robot as security. But yeah, I really liked this last episode. I thought it was fascinating. The Q came back, the Cutanium, the fact that humanity is always on trial. they did this test to see if Picard was ready, in a sense, and that Q was guiding him along. Interestingly, talk about negative time, so basically time that flows backwards instead of forwards. The spatial anomaly that happens due to 3 enterprises all converging on the spatial anomaly, then being pulled into the spatial anomaly. Several of the ships blow up, like the ship from the future. But yeah, very interesting stuff here. They go back to like 4 billion years ago, to the beginning of life starting on Earth, and they say the spatial anomaly, traveling backwards through time, it gets bigger the further back they go into the past. So around 4 billion years ago, when life first started on Earth, this spatial anomaly prevented life from starting. Tadpoles, amoebas, fish coming out of the water. So essentially Picard had stopped humanity, leading to him having to fix it with his crew, of course. And we saw right at the end, Picard finally joined the crew for a game of cards, which he mentions he should have done a long time ago, which we end Star Trek Picard with them playing cards, which is a really nice send-off. It shows he's gotten more used to him. He's not so uptight. But yeah, I really like this show. Let me know what you guys think of the series. Let me know what you guys think of Deep Space Nine, Voyager. Are there any episodes you recommend? Lower Decks. I did recently talk about Strange New Worlds getting a casting announcement update in my last video. So that's really cool to hear about the last season of Strange New Worlds getting a casting announcement for Dr. McCoy and Sulu. So that's really awesome. I'm not a big fan of the guy they picked for young Captain Kirk, because he's the Vampire Diaries boy. But we'll see how he works. We'll have to give him a chance. Maybe they might do movies after Strange New World ends with that cast. I'm not sure. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe till I do some more videos. Ciao, and have a good one.